Today, we're reacting to the biggest video games announced at the Game Awards, from the surprise announcement of Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic to not one but two new Tomb Raider games, and of course the Divinity reveal that's been teased all week. Plus, we're revealing our favorite games of the show and calling out a few huge misses. Stick around for all that and more. Welcome, friends. It's good playing with you, your weekly gaming news roundup. I'm Dan Whitehill, and as always, I'm joined by Matt Lord.
Hey, how's it going?
And Molding has the day off this week, but we've got a special guest filling in, Chad Conselmo.
Hey now, I gotta do my best Molding impression while he's gone.
You're right. Good job. Good job.
Oh, wait, let me do one more impression. Metroid Prime 4 looks like a GameCube game.
Right? Everyone should play Baldur's Gate 3.
That's right. Baldur's Gate 3 is the best game ever, and everyone should play it.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. You're going to fit right in. Our audience probably won't even know that Molding's gone because you're doing such a good job.
That was my plan.
Molding.
Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us for this super big event. It's awesome to have you once again.
Agreed.
Oh my God. Thank you for having me. I've said this before. I'm a massive fan. It's such an honor to be here. And so I'm really excited to talk about all this stuff. So thank you.
Well, before we hit the headlines this week, we're only 155 subs away from our goal. So if you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe. And with that out of the way, let's jump into those headlines of the week. First and foremost, of course, were the Video Game Awards. Awesome announcements, awesome show, and it was amazingly long too. Hopefully you didn't have to sit through it because you've got this recap here. And let's jump into it. First up, Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. Now, I know this wasn't the first trailer shown on the show, but it was one of the biggest in the beginning, and I want to get your guys' reaction. It looked like, for our audio listeners, it looked like a cinematic single-player Star Wars RPG directed by KOTOR and Mass Effect veteran Casey Hudson, and it was positioned as a spiritual successor to Knights of the Old Republic.
I think this is a pretty exciting reveal. I think this was one of definitely like a hyped sort of game, and it's been ages since the last, when Knights of the Old Republic 2 came out. When was that? That was like, man,
20 years ago.
20 years ago.
More than that, probably.
I feel like it's been ages since I've even played that. So I'm kind of surprised they're going back to that well, but definitely this is something that I'm looking forward to and seeing what comes of it.
Oh, Chad? Yeah, I totally agree. And again, I'm not just going to do a Malding impression here. This is my true opinion that is similar to what Malding would say. I do get a little hesitant when I see all CG trailers, obviously, because we all do. But it did look amazing. Yeah. It looked so good. I'm a huge fan of the original games. So yeah, this was like a great surprise. I am so excited to play this. I'm still a Star Wars person. I love Star Wars. I love that universe, and I love that period of time in that fictional universe too, the Old Republic stuff. So I'm actually really excited about seeing this and playing this. And it sounds like it's completely single player, which again, I'm a huge fan of. So
ooh, so nice. Stoked. That's a huge bonus for me as well. I didn't know that little detail until just now. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Well, for those of our friends and myself included who haven't played the first two, like, is this like a Mass Effect? What can I expect here?
It's very similar to Mass Effect. I think Mass Effect
is basically, I love
it. Same kind of style of RPG where it's like, it's an action RPG, but it's also kind of a little turn-based-y, kind of, with selecting things. But they said this new one's an action RPG, so I don't know if it's just going to be completely action, which would be great. So I don't know, but either way, it's going to be cool. And it's also from that Casey, who's like a legend. So I'm sure it'll be really great. And I'm so excited. And I'm stoked.
Yeah, it was definitely a cool reveal. Man, I couldn't stop thinking about those graphics though. I think every single bit, like from the starfighter that kind of landed and just the face animation, looking at the Moltons, I was just like, this is on another level. I know that, that again, not gameplay, but man, they are doing something special with those.
I gotta agree. Yeah. Straight off the bat, I'm glad you mentioned that because I had the same reaction. I'm like, look, I know this isn't gameplay, but this cutscene is the best looking cutscene of the game. And I'm not a Star Wars nerd. Look, Star Wars nerds, I'm sorry, I'm a Star Trek nerd, so I respect you people, but I'm just a little different breed here. Exactly. No, I love them both because I'm the ultimate nerd. But I'm not. into the I haven't played the other ones, and so seeing this, I was like, holy crap, please be an action RPG, because this looks super beautiful and I can't wait to jump in. And we had heard repeatedly about how they had tried to remaster and remake the first one a couple of times and it's failed over and over. So maybe that's what their plan was. They were going to like redo the first one just to whet people's appetite, and then they were going to surprise us all with this one. They still had a great surprise, still super well received, but I can see probably financially what the plan was from a business perspective here.
Yeah, I'm just surprised this was a drop.
Agreed. Well, another game that was a surprise was the first one that opened the show. And in fact, I'm surprised it made our list to talk about. It's called The Free Shepard, and it's a cozy indie adventure about a loyal dog herding sheep through a tranquil countryside environment. The reveal leaned heavily on slow camera pans, soft pastel colors, and gentle animations that made it feel more like a playable animated short than a traditional video game. It did have some weird sci-fi elements, and it has a release date of 2027. Okay, so Conselmo, I have to go to you first. You put this on the list, and I'm like,
I mean, it's already my 2027 game of the year. I've been wanting a game I can play as a dog like this for so long. It looked perfect. I'm a huge fan of indie games. I'm a fan of games like Eco that kind of have this kind of like fantasy world isolation. I don't know if you guys saw the movie Flow that won the Oscar last year for best animated feature, but like it also gave me that vibe where it's like this kind of like cool world with only animals. I don't know. It just looked amazing. Dan, you're right to come to me first. This game is my jam. I was so happy. It was only like a 45-second trailer, but I wanted more. I already know I'm going to be playing this day one. A+. No notes.
I was like, fast forward. In fact, when I saw you put this on the list, I was like, what? I had to go rewind and go back and look at this. I'm like, Conselmo.
No, actually, I think Lord put this one on the list.
Oh, whoa.
Yes, this is a surprise.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is the shocking twist of the episode.
Exactly.
But he was just faster than me because I would have put it on the list.
Yeah. No, I'm echoing everything you just said, Chad, because I was just like, okay, this dog game looks super cool. I can already envision the gameplay, like super tight controls, like really fast, like fluid motion. I liked how you're kind of like herding the sheep. I feel like that's going to be like a really cool part of the gameplay.
Yeah, and with like puzzles and stuff. Like, right. You're going to do such a cool thing with that, I'm sure.
And then like the sci-fi pillars really captured my interest. I'm like, what are they cooking up with this game? It's definitely a my speed.
And feel free to mute yourself. Me and Lord have some more things to say to each other. Yeah. And also, just one detail I noticed too is like there's this final shot in the trailer where the dog's running through this big field of grass, and the grass kind of like bent but underneath his legs as he was running and formed like a path. And I was like, that is so small, but that detail's cool. And I have a feeling the game will be full of that kind of cool like environmental effects as the dog is and the sheep are like running through the world. So I thought that was also really cool too.
Yeah.
Like, I love dogs and all, but I also love murder. And just look at like Ghost of Tsushima or Yote, where they do the grass and the wind really amazingly well. So if you want some good grass, man, that's what I'm saying.
That's true. There. Good point.
Yeah. All right, we got to move on here because the next game was yes, unfortunately. The next game was actually the big reveal that they've been teasing for the last week or two with Jeff Keighley's tweet that everyone remembers of the demon statue. And it was Divinity from Larian Studios. It's their next epic RPG. It was teased as the studio's biggest and boldest game yet. Following the success of Baldur's Gate 3, the trailer was dark and confrontational, filled with fire, ritual imagery, brutal violence, and divine judgment, signaling a heavier, more mature fantasy tone as some guy was burned at the stake and then bubbled up and turned into I don't know. It was gross and awesome, essentially. What did you guys think?
Where's Malding when you need him?
I was going to say, like, of all things for Malding to miss, this moment of a new Larian game, like, I could hear his, like, head explode wherever he is tonight.
Well, that's the thing. There's a few things. There's, like, Divinity Original Sin 2, and that's the game that I'm, like, familiar. It's, like, a top-down, hardcore RPG, so I'm think it's got to be like the same sort of vibe, but
yeah. So I did talk to Malding previously because we knew this reveal was coming.
Yeah.
It had been leaked on the internet. And of course, I'm like, whatever. And then on the other hand, Malding was like, are you kidding me? This is greatest. Like, Larian can do no wrong. Like, they're so great with Baldur's Gate, and this is going to be even better. And I can't wait for it. And so I'm like, well, what the hell is it? And he was like, yeah, it's almost like the last game, Baldur's Gate, but it doesn't have the dice. And he said the real magic comes from like mixing things in your inventory. Like you mix, I don't know, like oil and a barrel or something, and then you can roll it at them and then catch it on fire. I don't know. Like he was like, you can improvise a lot of your weapons. And there's a lot of creativity here. To me, it still looked like that third person Diablo style view. So I'm not sure what to make of it, but I know he was super psyched for this game.
I mean, as the resident Maldine interpreter of the episode, I have to say I'm also stoked. I haven't played through Baldur's Gate 3 all the way, but Divinity Original Sin 2 is incredible. Yeah. And Maldine is absolutely right. You can just kind of experiment with the gameplay in that. You can kind of do anything, which is kind of also what you can do in Baldur's Gate 3, which is what's so appealing. They didn't show any gameplay of this, so I'm assuming it's going to be a top-down game like they're most of their games, but who knows? Maybe since this is their biggest, boldest kind of game yet, maybe they're going to do a different viewpoint and maybe it'll be a different type of game. Who knows? But I thought that trailer was awesome. I thought it was genuinely shocking. Like most of these CG trailers with like violence, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm used to it. But this one actually got me. It was so bloody.
It was awesome. There's a part where the guy throws up on a pig and the pig eats it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, they showed that a couple times and I'm like, dude, this is wild. And they're like banging demons or something over there, and then there's like this guy eating chicken extremely grotesquely, and it's like all like culminating to the big blood spout that you're talking about. I'm like, this is just something else like I've never seen. And then the graphics were just again, going back to how good these graphics have been getting.
I have an embarrassing confession to make. When they first started the preview, because of the character models, they looked a little more not cartoony, but like, they weren't completely realistic. They were stylized. So I thought, oh, this is the new Fable game. And
that's what my friend said when we were watching it. My friend said the same thing. Oh, Fable.
And then all of a sudden, all this crazy shit went down. And I was like, okay, wait, there's two things that are happening here. Either this is not Fable, which of course that's what happened, or Fable has taken a very dark turn. And then the second the guy's head exploded and blood poured out, I was like, okay, this is clearly not Fable. but then of course I knew what the reveal was at that point. But yes, that was my initial thought, because it kind of had that vibe of, I'm glad I wasn't the only one, Dan. Thank you.
I'm just thinking like, Chad, just if it is something like, if it turns into like a third person type of, or even first person, it would be, I would be so I think I would be, I would be excited for a top down, to be honest, but like, I feel like a lot of games are taking on that top down look right now. And so I wouldn't mind a good first person, like hardcore fantasy. Like, I think that would just be like a nice twist to this game. And I'm kind of leaning towards, hopefully it is something like that.
I think you're going to be disappointed, my friend. I think they're sticking with their Larian roots and doing what they do best.
I agree.
All right, sticking with their roots and doing what they do best is definitely the motto at Capcom, because we got another look at Resident Evil Requiem, and let's just say that game is looking amazing. Basically, it's sorry. It's okay. I feel the same way. Exactly. So it's basically the next mainline game in Resident Evil, and it confirms Leon S. Kennedy's return alongside new protagonist Grace Ashcroft. The trailer showed classic Resident Evil tension, flickering lights, grotesque creatures emerging from shadows. The release date is just around the corner with February 27, 2026. How psyched are you guys?
Clearly psyched. And not only is Leon back, which was kind of rumored earlier this week, but he's playable, which like that blew my mind. When they showed a whole segment of him, you play as Leon, I was like, okay, this is too much. I'm so excited. It looked like classic Resident Evil. This might be my most anticipated game of next year. And that includes the fact that Grand Theft Auto is coming out next year. Like, that's how much I love Resident Evil. So I am so excited about this.
I agree that this was a really cool showcase. And then Jeff said it at the end, there's sort of a it has like the dual sort of situations. Like you can play survival horror, and then you have Leon over here. That's like the action horror that we've kind of gotten used to over the years. And I think that's really cool. Like having those two pieces in one game. And I don't know. And then they introduced like the antagonist too. I thought he had a really cool design with his scary goggles. And I don't know, this game just looks really cool. I'm thinking, I mean, I still want to see a little more like what Raccoon City is really going to be like looking like, seeing if there's a little more to the city that we haven't explored yet. But this game is shaping up to look really cool. I'm super stoked. Got me pumped up.
I agree. The Jeff Keighley thing hit me a little weird because I thought it was stereotypical gender roles and it made me cringe a bit, but I'm still super excited for the game. And I think the black and white look, it's pretty good. I prefer color in my game. So I don't know. This one, I'm definitely going to play it day one. I'm definitely super excited. I love that Leon's looking a little bit older, a little more grizzled veteran. He's looking awesome. Grace, I can't wait to learn more about her, and I think her mom's in there, and so it should be kind of interesting. I'm curious to see where they go with it, though, because I'm not 100% sold, but it's Resident Evil, so I'm always in day one on this one.
And I kind of hear what you're saying, Dan, but at least with me, every time I doubt Resident Evil, it still impresses me. Like, the game comes out and I'm like, this is amazing. Like, and I'm assuming that'll probably happen with this one.
I doubted Village because I was like, this looks a little silly with the monsters. Same with me. And it turned out to be my favorite one of the series. Like, I adored that one. So my heart is definitely open to this one. There's no way I'm not going to get it right away. But I'm just saying it just struck me a little bit less than without the color and all of that sort of
stuff. I agree.
So.
And really quickly on the antagonist look, one thing that Resident Evil does really well is they always have a villain that is so memorable. Like oh God, I can't remember her name. Oh my God, I'm gonna get dinged for this. The woman from Village, that was so famous.
Lady Demetrius.
Yes.
All stumble over her name.
Incredible, and like Nemesis, and like and you go back to Resident Evil 4, and there's like Chainsaw Man. There's multiple characters in 4, but like Resident Evil is so good at coming up with really cool villains that like you remember for years and years and years. So I think already that person that they showed in the trailers are going to be someone that we think about forever. So they're really good at that. So that's just something I wanted to point out.
And let me ask you guys a question. Are you guys going to play it in first person or third person?
I'm going to use that cool mode they said they advertised where they like it switches you in and out depending on what the game prefers you to do.
Oh. Huh. I didn't hear about that feature. That sounds great.
Yeah, that's like cool. Apparently there's a feature where like the game developers like they take you in and out of first and third person depending on the situation, and I'm like, that sounds like the coolest thing for me because I don't think I could decide, so I was like, let me have the game decide for me.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
That is interesting, and I bet you the way it is the girl Grace is going to be in first person because that's scarier, and then Leon the action is going to be third person.
That makes perfect sense.
I gotta be honest with you, I will probably play the whole thing in first person. I just think it's more immersive, and that's ever since 7 did it. 7 did it, and I was like, "Whoo, doggy, this is awesome!" And I can't go back. I do love 4 and all the others, and I play them, the third person as well, but there's something about that first person horror that I just can't get enough of. It's amazing.
It's scary. It's scary.
It is.
Definitely scary. All right. Well, speaking of a little bit scary and definitely weird, we have Control Resonant. This is Remedy's follow-up to Control, and it shifts the focus to Dylan Faden as the supernatural chaos spills beyond the Federal Bureau of Control. Visually, the trailer was packed with distorted geometry, reality warping effects, and brutal close quarters combat using a transforming melee weapon instead of a gun. The release date, well, I don't have a release date for it. So the release date's a question, but what did you guys think about this? Because they definitely made a big deal of this on the award show, utilizing the stage and then going into the video. I wasn't sure what I was seeing half the time until the trailer started. But what did you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I loved the first, the Control one. I thought was an awesome game, super cool. So if it's more of that, which it definitely looks like it is, and yeah, like you see the huge melee hammer that we get to use in this one, I was stoked on it, and yeah, I thought the reveal was a little extra for my taste. I thought this is going a little over the top, but I thought once they got into the game, they showed some of the gameplay and what we can expect from the game. I was like, this looks this looks awesome. I'm going to be definitely picking this one up because I'm just a Control fan. I think that kind of sci-fi universe is really cool and works really well as a video game.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you. And it's so funny. Remedy has come up with such a style now to their games that within like 30 seconds, I just immediately knew it was a Remedy game. And then I also knew it was a game in the Control universe. Like
Yeah,
it's like,
for
and
sure.
I wasn't sure because I was like, well, I'll wait for the reveal. And then of course, as I got near the end, I figured it out. But that's like a compliment, I mean, for them, like that they've established this style for their universes that are so recognizable that I pretty much knew immediately. I didn't know it was going to be a Control sequel, but I just knew it was going to be something in that universe, like another Alan Wake or something. But it was just, I thought it looked amazing. And I'm with you, Lord. I love the first Control. I think it's very unique. I'm a big fan of these kind of like original games that are just, it's like, it's nice to see these once in a while. So it just looked cool and interesting, and I'm sure I'll play it. And yeah, I can't wait.
I'm curious because I'm not a fan of Remedy or Control. I never really liked a Remedy game. But looking at this one, I have respect for it because it's clearly taking swings and doing things differently than its predecessor did. The fact that it's action combat focused is a wild change from the gun focused before with the I forget the girl's name, protagonist or whatever, but using this guy to, I mean, he does, the first thing he does is jump right into his enemy's face and start hitting him with a sword, which is so wildly different than the way the game has played before. Although visually it does look like a traditional Control game. Are you guys excited about that gameplay change?
Yeah, I mean, I personally like a good gun. So
Click that.
yeah, I think, guns have, I think there's just a little more, I'll probably catch flack for this, but I feel like there is a little more variety with guns. With melee, you're kind of limited just, slashing. And I mean, you get as swords and hammers or whatever, but like, I'm wondering, it confirmed you're not going to be able to like warp that thing into a AK-47 at some point.
I'm sure there's
You
gotta
probably
be,
can at some point. Yeah, they didn't really show a ton.
but they did focus a lot on the melee combat.
They did.
And the
I
swords and
definitely
stuff.
saw that. So I mean, yeah, I wouldn't mind it going to the kind of how the original game did it, but still, it still looks good enough to pick it up.
And yeah, I'm thinking like, I mean, this is all speculation, but the original Control, it starts kind of in quote unquote the real world feel. You start as kind of like a normal person in kind of a normal world, and I think that's why the gun makes sense, because like people do have guns in the real world, and so then when
in America,
yeah, exactly, especially here, and then when it does kind of mutate into that crazy fantasy world throughout the game, like you still have your gun, of course, but I think in this one, it didn't seem like there's a lot of real world stuff. It seems like you're kind of just like thrown into the crazy world right away. So maybe that's why it's a different game, which is kind of a cool motivation for it to be a different gameplay style. Because it's like, I can do whatever I want. I can change my weapon into anything it can be at any time. So maybe that's kind of the reason it's different, which is actually kind of neat. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm with you, Lord. Like I love myself a good gun too.
All right, well, if you like guns, then you're really going to like the next game. So we got 2 Tomb Raider games here. The first one I want to talk to you guys about is Legacy of Atlantis. Now, this is a full reimagining of Lara Croft's original 1996 adventure, rebuilt with modern visuals, cinematic storytelling. The trailer emphasized ancient ruins, underwater exploration, deadly traps, and a more grounded, determined Lara reclaiming her legacy as a solo explorer. We even saw the little dino and stuff like that they had in the first one, but it definitely looked less polygons and a lot better. No release date on this one, but what did you guys think of this?
I mean, I'm going to sound like a broken record, and I liked something else. I think this looked awesome. Like I love the Tomb Raider games. Dan, I'm with you. That recent trilogy is incredible, and I'm really excited to just jump in as Lara Croft again. One thing I loved about this first game, the remake one, we'll get to the second one in a second, but one thing I loved about this is they showed her still doing her really ridiculous acrobatic moves from the original game, where she like jumps on a ledge, and instead of just like climbing up the ledge, she does this impossible to do in real life, like handspring flip around thing. Like, it is so dumb, but I mean that as a compliment. Like, I love that is still in there, and I love that the dinosaurs still are, the raptors are still in there, the T-Rex is still in there, the swimming, like that makes me feel really good, because they just re-released the original 3 Tomb Raider games, like kind of like polished up versions, but just still the original, and God, they are great classics,
Yes.
but impossible to play nowadays. So it is something that I'm excited to be able to play, like a cool looking version of the original. So I am very, very excited about this.
Yeah, I remember attempting to play the first one on like an old when I was like, 10 years old or whatever, and just not understanding how to play that game. So, that would be like, it'd be good to jump back in here. I'm kind of the mind where I'm like, okay, we just had the huge reboot. We had the trilogy. Like, we're getting a new character model. Like, did they need to go for a new character model, or could they have kept her around? Like, I'm not sure. And then I saw like Amazon is connected to this one as well. I'm trying to figure out like where that connection is, but yeah, I mean, what is
they
it?
Own the franchise now? I don't know.
Yeah, I think they do, and I think they're publishing it.
Yeah. So like maybe they're just like, we're just gonna do our own game. But yeah, I think it's great.
She's younger, so clearly they're making her look a little bit younger. They made her look like the old model with the longer hair. And
totally. And I'm glad they kept all the crazy antics from the OG game. I think it could be a lot of fun. I think it's worth it, depending on the price, though. Depending on the price, like I'm hoping it's I hope it's like $20. Like,
I agree. Like, that's the thing that struck me too, is like, okay, the next game we're going to talk about is the full on reboot of the series, and that's the one that truly has me excited. If they really wanted to appeal to the olds with this remake of the original, if they had like a DLC or like the pre-order purchase was an Angelina Jolie skin, then I would be day one.
Wow.
Day one. Like, call it back to the old Angelina Jolie. I'm so in.
Yeah, that's my Laura Croft right there, to be honest.
Right?
Like,
Exactly.
She's everyone's Laura Croft. She's America's Laura Croft.
Like, dude, Angelina knocked out of the park with that.
Right? So if they could bring her back to be the skin for this one, then that's that's the Laura Croft I want to see. And hell, I would even take her to this reboot. Seriously. Because the reboot is the one that has me the most excited, because I did love the trilogy before. And it's a brand new Tomb Raider adventure set in a mythical cataclysm that awakens ancient powers. This teaser focused on large-scale environments, rival treasure hunters, collapsing landscapes, and Laura racing against time as myth and modern danger collide. The release date says 2027. Yep. So not a lot of information there, but it did look great as well. They look kind of similar, actually. So I'm curious to see the differences and the similarities as they both release. What did you guys think?
I do like that they are using the same character model, at least close, because that kind of is going to help kind of tie this new reboot.
But they should have used Angelina Jolie.
Again, yes, of course. Maybe that's the DLC. But I also read that this new game is actually going to continue the same stories from the trilogy, and also tie in some of the stories and canon from the original games, which I don't know how they're going to do, but that seems interesting. So they're not just rebooting it. We're like completely from scratch. I still think the stories will still relate to the other games, which I think is kind of neat. And if you look at the character model in detail from the trailer, she kind of looks like a combination of the new character, the new one from the last trilogy and the original. Like, it almost feels like this perfect mold between the two, which I actually think is also kind of cool. So yeah, I'm with you, Dan. I'm the most excited about this new one more than anything. And if it's anything like the last three games, like, I'm so in, because I love myself an Uncharted-esque single player, like, raid the tomb adventure. Like, that to me is like checks every one of my boxes.
For sure.
And they have the old trusty grapple in there as well that kind of hooks enemies, and I love that type of gameplay.
Yep.
So that honestly hooked me from the get-go. I was like, okay, this really looks like they're not pulling any punches. They're gonna, they're leading with that grapple hook. So I think we can expect a lot of that in the game, which is totally fine with me. I'm cool with it. So it looked great. I think it definitely, you're right, how they use the same model, and I think it's smart. It's definitely a good marketing way to kind of get the audience in the new character model mindset. So I'm in.
Nice. Glad to hear it. Well, speaking of games that actually are a little bit retro here, we got to look at the next Mega Man. Now, that's a name we have not said, I don't think, on this show ever.
Oh, I'm so honored.
Or-
I'm here for the first Mega Man talk.
Exactly.
This is like a historic moment.
It is. This is Capcom's return to Mega Man's action with a modernized 2D side-scrolling approach. The gameplay trailer showed the first fast platforming look we have had at it, and classic boss encounters updated with slick new mechanics. Set a release date of 2027, so it's not even next year. But did you guys play the old ones, and how hyped are you for these?
I played every Mega Man game. I'm a massive fan. I love Mega Man 11. This is going to sound so dumb, and this is maybe only something a super fan would say, but I'm kind of annoyed it's just not called Mega Man 12. Every Mega Man has just been Mega Man with the number, outside of the spin-offs, of course. So I'm very excited about this new one. I think I was a little bit thrown off by the graphics at first just because they were like very different, but I think I could totally get on board with them. I think they look super cute, colorful, love it. 2D platforming, great. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. But then when I saw the title and it was Mega Man with like, or maybe Mega Man 13's next. Anyway, whatever's next in the line, Mega Man 13. I noticed it was just a subtitle instead of a number, and I freaked out. I was like, this is too much change for me.
Well, they probably couldn't remember which number they were on, so they just went with the subtitle.
I think it might be 13, actually. I think I did play Mega Man 12 too. Sorry, I take back my super fandom. I don't deserve it.
Oh, God.
But there's a lot of them. We all know that. We all can agree on the fact that there's a lot of those games.
In that case, I remember waiting in a super long line at E3 when E3 was still around, and Andrew, friend of the pod, we played. Well, I think it's got to be 12 then. It was the latest one, and we got to play like the first level, and oh man, I just realized I'm so trash at that game. He was really good, and it had just been so long since I've played Mega Man. I forget those were like the original Dark Souls difficulty of games.
Sure.
Like,
they're
freaking hard.
Yeah.
And so I was like not up to snuff, but he killed it. And man, I mean, this could be a good spot to, again, like I feel like I'm hoping these games like are priced a little more reasonably in
I'm
this
sure
economy.
This one will be, because the other ones were too. Like,
okay.
So that's
right,
good news.
And then giving it a go, and you can't go wrong with the side scroller like this. So
I don't know. They found a way to go wrong with Mighty Number 9. Do you remember that? The original creator tried to bring it back, and ouch! That Kickstarter game just definitely did not, win any new fans. That's for sure. So as long as they can learn what went wrong with Mighty Number 9 and return to the great game that was Mega Man, but hopefully they have a setting for the olds that they're like, I can't handle the frustration on this one. I don't want to throw a controller over Mega Man, okay? Because they need some sort of like relaxed setting or something, story setting. I want this story setting on Mega Man because I don't have the time to memorize all the dialogue.
I love when you're talking about a story setting to Mega Man. Like every Mega Man's known for its really good story.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like what is the story typically?
The story's the same in every game. Mega Man has to get powers, and then Dr. Wily shows up, and then he fights Dr. Wily. That's literally the story of every Mega Man.
I know.
Lots of barking.
And I had to use the bubble at the end with Dr. Wily or whatever. And
that's that's one thing that's cool about Mega Man that I'm assuming they will keep is how, when you get their powers from these bosses, certain powers work the best on certain bosses, but they don't tell you which one. So you kind of experiment. And then once you figure it out, it's amazing, because then it's like a 3-hit and then you kill the boss using the right weapon. So that is such a cool Mega Man thing, and I'm hoping that'll be in this new one too.
Agreed. That was the funnest part of telling your friends, I beat Leaf Man with this, and I beat this guy,
Yeah, you like share secrets on the best. Like, oh wait, I know how to beat Leaf Man now. You have to use Fireman's weapon. And everyone's like, oh, that's the best ever heard of my life.
Right? Agreed. All right, moving on to other sci-fi kind of games. There was a game called For Loop. Now, this one I'm not exactly so sure about, but I wanted to talk about this one because this one looks like it potentially has some real money behind it, because they had Bad Robot. Was it Jerry Abrams? Was that his name?
J.J. Abrams.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. J.J. Abrams from like the Uber producer from Bad Robot, and then the Left 4 Dead creator, Mike Booth. So I'm like, whoa, that's money and creativity. I freaking love Left 4 Dead. This is going to be amazing. when they showed the trailer showcased like ruined futuristic cities, swarming alien creatures, frantic teamwork moments, and I love a good co-op game. And it's a loop-based structure where players die, learn, and then come back stronger. No release date, but what did you guys think about this when you got to look at it?
I was pretty sus on this one, Dan. I when I did see them come out on stage and introduce the game, I'm like, this game is gonna slap. And then it was like, wait, what are we looking at here? This is not like I do like the reincarnate, like you're getting rebuilt, you're going back in and trying stuff. I'm like, it just seemed a little generic for what I think they could have produced. And then at the same time, I'm like, this looks a little like muddled. It looks a little dated. Like, what is this game? Like, maybe did they announce a release date for this one or
Nope.
Not yet? Okay.
Not
Because
yet.
maybe this one is just like maybe there's like a 2028 title or something. Because I was like, this one I think needs a little more time in the oven.
This
Chad?
is where my positivity ends. But actually, I shouldn't say that. The game could be fine. And Dan, I'm sorry to say this, but because I know you're an online person, I don't play online games at all. They're just not my thing. I'm a single player person through and through. I like co-op, like local co-op. I love those kind of games. I just don't play a lot of online games. It's just hard for me to find time to meet with people online. So I saw this and I immediately zoned out. I think I went to go grab a beer or something. Again, the game could be fine, and it's like it might be amazing for that type of game. It's just not personally for me. So I just kind of glazed over a little bit. I feel bad even when you brought it up, Dan. I was like, what game was that again? And then I was like, oh, that's right. I remember now. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to say about this. Sorry.
No, you guys are both being really kind. I agree. This one was a little bit like probably one of the bigger disappointments for me on the show. There's one other one I want to talk about later, but I was just shocked. Like the money and the talent behind this, and then the look was so generic.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people are doing this whole roguelite thing where you like incrementally, level up and stuff. I'm playing so many of those games. And I'm, like still playing them. I'm only complaining a little bit that everything has roguelite features in it. And this looks to be more of that. And man, oh man, I was just kind of surprised. I'm like, okay, don't get me wrong. I'm probably still going to play it.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to like it that much. So I just wanted to take your temperature on that as well.
But you can't resist that, like the 4-player co-op type thing. Like this guy cannot resist that. Like
I can't.
It's funny. Like there must be. I bet you're not alone. I think there's like there's a much bigger, base of people out there that see these types of games that are like, this is a no-brainer. Like I'm going to pick this up and play with my boys, even if it's for one night. Like, I think that must be just seriously like a very that's a marketing tactic that I think they employ a lot with these types of games.
Okay, while we're on the subject of games that are co-op shooters that you guys don't really understand why I play them, let's talk about the next trailer, which I thought was freaking amazing. It was so good. In fact, it was so good it was my 2025 most anticipated game of the year. But of course it never came out in 2025 and it's coming out in 2026, and that is John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. Now this is exactly what you would expect from John Carpenter. It's just a co-op shooter, lots of chaos, lots of attitude, lots of guns, co-op fun with vehicles and weapons and buddies shooting things and leveling up, and it's just pointless, crazy, and fun, and lots of violence. And I am in day one. When you guys saw this trailer, how impressed were you on a scale of 10 to 10?
My initial thought was, Dan's gonna love that. I was just like, so not for me at all. But I do think though, Dan, if I sat down with you or we went online and you played a game like this with me, I think your enthusiasm would get me into it. Because back in the day, in the glory days of the 360, I would play a lot of online games and have like a really good time, like Left 4 Dead and Crackdown and all these amazing games that were so fun. So I'm like, maybe I just gotta like tap back into that zone of like the younger Chad. But like, because I agree, it looked fun. It's just one of those games that I just don't play those like kind of games anymore. So maybe I just need to like have you get me back into them, and then I will be a convert.
I'm just thinking, like, yeah, playing with Dan, you're right. These co-op games, like Back for Blood, was a lot of fun. That game offered very little, so it was a quick stint. But if this game is sort of like a Back for Blood and has like the fun, has a more like addictive.
Don't say Back for Blood. Everyone hated that game. Say something else like Left 4 Dead or something. But everyone hated Back for Blood.
Well, yeah, Back for Blood was wait, Back for Blood.
Back 4 Blood wasn't that kind of like the Left 4 Dead ripoff?
Yeah, exactly. My 4-player online I'll play anything community rejected that one pretty quickly. It was really bad.
Yeah, I played it
only
with you.
one.
Yeah, but I thought it was like, I mean, it was fun for like I said, like that for that first night, you know, you're like, and so hopefully this one can do more than it, you know, I'm sure it can easily, but I will say each time I see this game too,
I'm confident.
It looks better than, you know, the last time I see it. So each time, like, I think they've shown it like 3 times now, and this time I'm like, okay, like we're getting there.
Well, it comes from Saber Interactive, who I love because they made, of course, World War Z, which has an amazing support, lots of DLC, and one of the best horde modes in gaming. So if this one is anything like World War Z, I'm telling you, this March, we are in for a treat. And I'm going to leave my lobby open, gentlemen. So if anyone wants to join me, I just highly encourage it. That's all I'm saying.
I can't resist that invitation.
All right. So speaking of, well, actually, instead of the next game, let's actually talk about a movie trailer that they slipped right in the middle of the award show. It was a really fun trailer, and it was really fun to see the whole cast show up. And that was for Street Fighter. Did you guys see this moment in the show? Did you see the trailer? And what did you guys think? Conselmo, I know you're chomping at the bit about this.
Oh, yeah. I was so excited about this. Like, sometimes usually I'm kind of a little jaded when it comes to video game movies. I'm like, okay, we'll see. Especially with Street Fighter, they've never kind of gotten it right yet. But that trailer, man, it was great. They didn't shy away from the actual look of the characters from the game, and that's what they usually do with these movies. They try to like make them more modern, so they change their outfits and they make them kind of feel like they're more in the real world. But like, they kept cutting to character after character: Chun-Li, Cammy, Blanca. Like, every character they showed looked like exactly from the game. They cast really interesting actors in them, and then of course, like you said, Dan, the entire cast came out. I don't know. I don't know if I was just drinking the Kool-Aid, but I was so sucked into this trailer, and I'm like super stoked for this movie. I mean, who knows if it's going to be good, but I just thought it looked awesome. Like, it looked like they got the Street Fighter vibe like perfectly.
Well, how dare you, Chad? Because Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter is still king. What are you talking about over there?
It's fine. It's fine.
No, that thing was a little wonky. I agree. I think they really locked in on the characters, and you know, they're going all out for this movie. And you know, Jason Momoa as Blanca, like,
I mean, perfect.
What? It's a wild choice, and I think, it's interesting to hear that he was like such a big Street Fighter fan. He made that pretty clear when he was on stage as well. So I think this could be a fun one. It looks cool. I do like the style of. I think this is a good cycle of how they're doing these video game movies, where they're like very like locked in on the characters. They're like they don't take themselves too seriously, and I think that's a good thing. And you know, why not? It's just a movie about a video game. So I think we're in a good spot, and it's, you know, kind of exciting. I think it, you know, started a little bit with like Minecraft, like that type of like silliness, like chicken jockey stuff, throwing popcorn in the theater. So I think we'll get more of that with this one.
And they did show that the very last quick teaser scene was that bonus level from Street Fighter where you break
punching
the car
up,
and they had the same car and everything. So I was like, okay, wait, I was completely a sucker for this trailer. I'm all in.
I love it too. I actually did like it a lot. I thought it was awesome that the cast came out. They got me super hyped seeing them, and I can't believe how jacked Noah Centineo was. That was crazy how muscular. Like, he was just in those little teen movies on Netflix a few years ago. So that was crazy.
Yeah.
So good on him. And then Then the trailer I thought was okay. It was a very PG-13. It didn't have the blood and guts that I like from Mortal Kombat. The fact that Mortal Kombat punched someone, their blood flew out, they froze it, they grabbed the frozen blood and then stabbed the guy again. I just don't think that you can beat that. That's pretty much the coolest thing I can imagine. So from the violence perspective, definitely Mortal Kombat has it beaten down. But from a personality and cast perspective, wow, this one definitely is packed and loaded. I was going to call it the car thing too. I think it was really awesome. But the best part here is, I hope this movie is a success because what the cast did on the award show, that's what got me the most excited. They were all like very charismatic, giving their little, minute speech or whatever. And then they jokingly started calling out Mortal Kombat and the Mortal Kombat movie. And I'm telling you, if this one's a success, the next movie we're going to get is Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat.
Oh my God.
Then oh my God. Like, that's going to be awesome.
Oh, that's a good one.
Honestly, that's
right now, that's where it's going.
Yeah, that's something that kids have been clamoring for, like our age, people like when we were kids. I don't think we could have ever imagined the Street Fighter characters fighting the Mortal Kombat characters. I would die.
Right. And I'm telling you, if they can pull this movie off, that's where it's going. And you're right, Chad. We've always wanted this since children.
Oh my God.
And I can sense our childhood wish coming to fruition. That's what I was feeling when I watched this. So even if I just think it's, PG-13, I still want it to be a huge success for that very reason, that we can have that movie and game tie-in that we also rightly have always deserved.
Hope that's true. Hope that's true.
Definitely fingers crossed on that one. We're going to have to wait on that one. But one of the things we won't have to wait on is Total War Warhammer 40,000. It looks like another game is just around the corner. And I know that you guys are pumped about this one, especially Lord, because I saw this trailer and it made me think of you immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Creative Assembly brings the Total War formula to the grim, dark future of Warhammer 40K. The reveal featured massive planetary battles, iconic factions clashing with tanks and infantry, and intense cinematic zoom-ins that blended strategy with brutal real-time warfare. No date yet, but Lord, you've got to be super pumped for this.
I'm pumped. I loved the cinematic vibe, like just showing the Space Marines, showing the spaceship vessels in the cosmos. I just thought it looked, those little snippets of movies alone got me pumped. But the reason why I really put it on here is because I'm just like, is 40K is so popular that they're coming out with Dawn of War 4 now, and they're coming out with this game, like 2 strategy games in like a span of a couple years. And so I'm just like, wait, what do you think the strategy is for this? Like, it's a little surprising. Like, did you guys even think is this just like a weird move on the, Games Workshop folks? Like, what do you think is going on here?
Yeah, it does feel like it's going to be a little saturated with these types of games, but I know they're really popular, like you hinted at. So my guess is that they just know people are going to buy them. I don't play I don't play a lot of the Warhammer games, but I love strategy games. So I was super locked in on this. I thought it looked really awesome. So I'm sure I'll check it out on my PC at some point. It looked cool.
Have you played any of them before?
Not really. I've played a bunch of strategy games, of course, but I haven't played any Warhammer games before. So I'm not familiar with them, but I love strategy games. So I thought it looked awesome. I was like, it was giving me like StarCraft vibes. And I was like, oh my God, nothing can, if something looks like StarCraft, I'm in.
And
I remember Warcraft back in the day before it went online. Like, I guess that's similar to what this is. Like, I'm trying to understand. Okay.
Yeah. It's similar to like the original Warcraft and Warcraft 2. It's like, it's kind of, it's way evolved from that kind of gameplay, but it's a similar genre.
Yeah. And from what so Total War, there's been like Warhammer, like the fantasy games. So this is, now they're taking it to the future sci-fi landscape. But I just think it's an interesting timing to have both. Yeah. There must be just enough audience out there. I'm still stoked. This is something that I'm most likely going to pick up both anyway, because Dawn of War is awesome. And this looks like just more 40K that I can't resist.
I mean, Lord, you got to follow Henry Cavill on Instagram then, because
yeah.
all he does is talk about Warhammer. Like, he does like PC builds like on his Instagram stories. Like, he's obsessed. So if he's that obsessed, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that love these games.
That's true. That's true. What a guy.
Or just love him.
I was gonna say I follow him on Instagram for other reasons as well.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Let's talk about 007 First Light. Now, this game is becoming the whore of the award shows because it is literally at every show you turn around. I swear, we keep seeing this one everywhere, but that's fine because it actually looks really good. So this is, again, the new James Bond game focused on like the young James Bond who's doing espionage gadgets and had a cinematic action. The trailer leaned this time not into the Aston Martin commercial. Wasn't that what
Thank
it was?
goodness.
Yeah.
Aston Martin.
Yeah. And it was more classic Bond imagery, luxury locations, sleek vehicles, shadowy villains, and high stakes set pieces straight out of the films. This one has a release date of March 27th, 2026, which is just around the corner. Are you guys sold yet, or what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, if they can put Lenny Kravitz in a 007 game, then they can put Angelina Jolie in the new Tomb Raider. You know, like
call back.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah.
I have to say, Lenny Kravitz ruined it for me. Look, I love. Well,
that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
I have strong feelings about Mr. Kravitz because look, he is super talented, and no one can deny that. He is an awesome rock star, and his music is totally cool. But as an actor, let's just say he doesn't bring it the performance. The trailer spotlighted his character Mawa, and it was truly boring. And I'm not shocked because he also ruined The Hunger Games, one of the best series at all ever. But if you read the books and you know Cinna, I think that was the name of his character, he played the gay stylist for her amazing girl on fire dress that catches on fire, and it's Lenny Kravitz who can't act. Are you kidding me? You just effing ruined that movie, and now you're gonna turn around and effing ruin fucking 007 2 before it even comes out? Jesus Christ, man. Go back to making music. Do what you do best, but leave my inner fucking tainment alone.
I'm kind of with you, Dan, and I this game is I will say I'm very excited about it. It looks awesome. It looks like kind of Uncharted-y, and like I'm super pumped for it. But they do this one thing that is one of my biggest pet peeves outside of Kojima games, because he can get away with it. When actors look like their character in the game, or when the character in the game looks like the actor, I should say, it always bothers me. For some reason, I'm like, I want to play a game where great, use as many celebrity voices as you want, fine. But when the characters look similar, it always distracts me for some reason. But again, Kojima can pull it off. I don't know why he can, but he can. But whenever I play a game like Call of Duty or something like that, and I see an actor pop up or a character pop up and it looks exactly like the actor, I'm always like, I don't know, it completely takes me out, which doesn't make any sense because it doesn't bother me in a movie or a TV show, but in a video game, I don't know why it always bothers me. Am I the only one here, or does it bother you too?
No, I mean, every time when I see something like this, I'm just like, but why? Like, it could have been anybody. Right, like, and then I'm just like, in my analytical brain, I'm always just like, so what are they trying to like sell me on? Like, is Lenny Kravitz like dropping a new album, or like, why does he need to be in 007? Like, it is just such a strange move, and who knows what the deal is. But it could have been anybody.
And I think that the executives might be thinking like, oh, they're going to be a draw just like they are draws for movies and TV shows, but it's not like that in games. I've never met any gamer that's like, oh, I'm going to buy this game because it has an actor in it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's like that with movies and TV shows, of course, but it's not like that in games. But I think there's some people that think it is, I guess. I think that's the only reason this is happening. It's very strange.
Yeah.
I know. Let's just say Keanu Reeves wasn't necessary to make Cyberpunk cool, and I'm like, he was a bit of a stretch on that one. But Lenny Kravitz, man, I love you, but I think if there's any way, like, hopefully that's like DLC I can avoid or something like that.
That'd be good.
Huge owner killer.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to wait for reviews on that game before I jump in for that very reason. Like, I was so interested until that very moment, and when they pulled that, I was like, if they're making decisions like this, they might not be making the best decisions for the game. And I'm going to wait because I'm now questioning their headspace based on that alone.
That's really well said. Truly.
All right, so let's jump into better stuff, though. Let's talk about one of the biggest games of the show, and one of the best looking games of the show, Saros. Now, we have seen this one before, but I know you guys are super pumped about it. And you know what? Even this trailer got me a little bit pumped. This is Housemarque's atmospheric follow-up to Returnal, built around the cyclical death and survival. The trailer showed eclipse-covered alien landscapes, intense third-person combat, and of course, bullet hell. This has a release date of April 30th, 2026. What did you guys think of this latest look?
Great look. I thought this game looked super sweet. It's coming together. I liked the cinematic where he's like talking and kind of obviously having some sort of like psychological break, and then just the gameplay, it just jumped right into that. You have, the bullet hell type elements that you learned to love in Returnal. And where's Malding when you need him, since he's balls deep in Returnal. And it's like it, and I again, like, Returnal is such a great game. I know they're not going to do any wrong, because to be honest, it looks kind of 1-to-1 a little bit, just first glance. So like, if it is more and just like a different setting, new story, I'm not going to complain. I think that's totally fine move.
Yeah, I'm going to make it official now. I love Returnal. I love that game. I think it's one of the best PS5 games.
Yes.
It's so good. I love that main character. She reminds me kind of like an older Samus. Like, I love the style. Yeah. I love the gameplay. Like, that loop was so addictive. Like, that to me is like an all-time classic already, and I cannot be more excited about this game. And I'm with you, Lord. It looks very similar to Returnal, which in another world I might complain about, but I'm not complaining. Yeah. I want more.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is an easy sell for me. I cannot wait to play this and buy this. So it's day one for me, easy.
It definitely looked interesting, had my interest peaked, but it's that whole bullet hell thing. Right. The game looks like a controller chucker for me, gentlemen. And I don't know if I can afford, $70 for the game and then another $70 or $80 for another controller, because that's
the drywall.
Yeah, exactly. That's really what it's going to cost me if I tried to pick this one up. So I have the utmost respect for it and them, but I just can't wait to hear everyone else's review.
I think that's sort of like a lot of people's concerns going into it, but it's actually more manageable than it may look. Like, the game teaches you how to maneuver very well, and it is very tightly. The controls are super tight, so like you can maneuver extremely well in that game. I think everyone should give Returnal a shot for sure, and then you'll be more excited for Saros, which I think is gonna I think this game's gonna knock it out of the park. It looks really cool, and the showing was great.
All right, that pretty much recaps all of the big trailers from the show, but what did you guys think about the show itself? I want to know. I've got a couple of questions here. First off, what do you think was the game of the show, the one that had you the most hyped and is your most anticipated? Conselmo, let's start with you.
Oh man, that's a tough question. There was a lot of good stuff I really liked. Well, my obvious answer is the dog game.
I knew you were going to say that.
But my honest answer, well, that probably is my honest answer, but my second close answer was, weirdly enough, I'm actually like really excited about Tomb Raider.
All right.
If you asked me that yesterday, I probably would have been like, what, maybe? But then for some reason, seeing her and seeing that gameplay and just seeing, again, maybe it's just hitting that Uncharted itch that I always have, that it's never going to go away. But like, I just saw that and I was like, this is a game I want to play. So I'm really excited about the new Tomb Raider Catalyst. That to me really got me excited. So I would say that's my pick outside of the dog game.
Yeah. I gotta join you in that group. The dog game, obviously number one. But besides that, I have to go with Resident Evil Requiem. I mean, that just looked cool. The Leon reveal was awesome, and I still think the dual survival mixed with the action is just like a no-brainer move for them, and I think they're gonna make that work really well for that game. So I'm pumped for that one, even though I'm gonna be super terrified to play it.
Okay, I'm gonna agree with you on that one, but just to be a little bit different, I'm gonna also give a shout out to the Star Wars game. And we didn't see gameplay, so it has to be an action RPG, but just the sheer jaw-dropping graphics of that cutscene and the lighting and everything that they were doing there has my interest so piqued, especially coming from Casey Hudson. Really has my hype level, super sky high, and I hope it's as great as we all want it to be. Fingers crossed, and can't wait to see another look at it. Now let's talk about, unfortunately, the most disappointing game of the show. Which one just didn't sit quite right with you? Conselmo, you go first.
I would never dare say Toxic Avenger because then Dan will kick me off this podcast.
It's Toxic Commando. You get your toxicity correctly. If you're going to be toxic to me, you might as well get
God, that was so embarrassing. My joke totally bombed. But I would say for me, it is either going to be the J.J. Abrams game or the High Guard game. Probably High Guard only because that was hyped as like the final reveal. And in the past, the final reveal has always been something that blew my mind that I wanted to play like immediately. And again, High Guard could end up being incredible, but it's just not my type of game. So I'm going to go with High Guard as my pick. Sorry, Toxic Commando. You look great. And I can't wait to play it with you, Dan.
Yeah. I could 100,000% High Guard. What was that grand finale? The finale reveal. Honestly, I seriously thought it was gonna be Half-Life 3. Like, I was like, they're gonna have Half-Life 3 here. That is gonna be seriously amazing. Like, I'm gonna lose it, and I'm gonna lose it on the show afterwards. And then they just showed this game that looked like a freaking mobile game and riding a horse, and I'm just like, no way. Like, this is what we're closing with.
I didn't know what it was. I fast forwarded through that because I thought it was a mobile game for sure. Free to play. I thought it was free to play.
Well, I think it is. I think it's free to play. Is that?
Oh, that's paid then. Oof.
It might even be. Who knows? But either way, I just thought it looked rough, and to have that be the final showing,
that's embarrassing. Like, honestly,
it's embarrassing.
If it's free to play, then it's got to have paid promotion behind it. I would think. I think they paid Keighley to be the like that. It's going to be a conspiracy theory in my mind because I thought it was so bad. I fast forwarded looking for the final reveal.
No, it was bad. Like, it was truly bad. Like, I don't know, but yeah, that one for sure topped my list.
Got it. Yeah, I didn't even know which one you guys were talking about, but now,
oops, maybe that's your answer too now, Dan.
Yeah. Well, my main disappointment though was just the 4 loop. Like, I love the idea of a 4-player co-op thing where you live, die, repeat, and J.J. Abrams, because I know he's got really a lot of money and lots of creativity. And then, of course, I love Left 4 Dead. But what the hell was I looking at? It honestly reminded me of Redfall. Like, that's the kind of style of graphics and the 4-player stuff. I got Redfall vibes, to be honest with you. And we were all let down by Microsoft's vampire shooter, and this is looking like more the same to me. So that's really.
Even when I think back on them presenting the game, they just seemed bummed. Right. Also, like, they didn't even believe in their own game. They're just kind of like, and check this out.
Yeah, exactly. I know, right? Yeah. Hope you like it.
Yeah, seriously. Yikes.
Awkward. Okay, so then on a scale of like our grading scale, A, B, C, D, F, like, where would you land with this show overall, given it's, not just the award show and all that sort of stuff, but the amount of trailers, the quality of the trailers, the level of hype. Let's grade it on a trailer perspective, because the people thing, they were all great. Everything's great there. What did you think, Conselmo? For the reveals, was it any good for you?
Yeah, it was pretty decent. I mean, there was a handful of stuff we talked about that wasn't really in my wheelhouse, but I would say, like, going into it, I was kind of not expecting much because I was like, oh, I don't really know what they could announce that really would go get me crazy hyped. But after the show, I was like, I feel kind of good about a lot of those games. I'm kind of excited about a lot of them. So I would say I would give it a solid B.
Yeah, that's not a bad choice. The reason why I'm going to have to say C- is because I expected a lot.
You wanted Half-Life 3.
I wanted Half-Life 3.
You wanted Half-Life 3 then.
I drank the Kool-Aid. Like, there was
off Reddit. The Reddit people are toxic. They say it's coming every 5 minutes.
Exactly.
I'm getting off Reddit. Like, no, like, this was the time. Like, I think this was the year though for the Game Awards to really, like, because to be honest, like, those games are great, and I think they did announce some great games, but like, nothing is like, okay, this is like gonna, this is showstopper stuff. That's what I expect. Like, I expect showstopper, and I don't feel like we really got that. I feel like we got some like Fate of the Old Republic. Like, okay, that was a surprise, but like I said, like no one really expected that. But like a Half-Life 3, that would have been a showstopper. We'd have been talking about it for months.
Right.
We didn't get anything like that. So unfortunately,
because it doesn't exist, Lord. You let go and let God, dude. Like
Listen, Lord, I'm holding on hope as much as you are too, but I'm with Dan. I think unfortunately that might not exist.
I hate to be someone who sits on the fence here, but I got to split the vote, and I'm going to say C+. I think it was a good show. There were good quality reveals, but my bar and expectations for Jeff Keighley's show is a little bit higher. I think of it as the E3 of winter, and because he gets great stuff. And in years past we've had console reveals and other stuff that were just like, whoa, no way. And this year is like really good quality. Like, great job, Jeff, this is awesome. Like, I enjoyed it, and I was happy to see Claire Obscure like sweep because they're such great people and the great game. But the show itself was good, but like the reveals themselves could have been a little bit stellar. And honestly, it's their fault for always putting on such a good show and every year, and like having such good trailers that this year just couldn't match up. And they had such a good run going into it with Divinity, and Molding was here, he would have given the show an A because of course of Divinity itself. Maybe if I were like crazy, like I think they did maybe an A level on hype and then a C+ level on the actual praise that would give them. I enjoyed the shit out of it all around.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up everything we've got this week. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're listening on the podcast, please share with a friend. And on behalf of Chad Conselmo, Matt Lord, and myself, Dan Whitehill, thanks for joining us. And as always, good playing with you.
Good playing with you.
Good playing with you.